Are you serious, guys? Are you serious? Boy, things are happening so fast now. It's getting hard to keep up with it. But we've got breaking news coming everywhere. Are you serious? Boy, things are happening so fast now. Yeah, you can't keep up with it. Breaking news everywhere, but the second wave of energy has hit. The second wave of energy has hit, and on the webinar tomorrow, Mike from around the world is going to tell you about when the third one and the fourth one are going to hit. He's going to actually give you the dates to that. But the second wave just hit, and there's disturbances already in the heavens. Let me share all that with you in just a second. But first, let's put a quick shout out, if I can, for www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. A recent survey reveals that if your New Year's resolutions revolved around weight loss, half of all Americans are with you. One of the easiest ways that I can recommend jump starting your new year resolution is with this amazing www.ketowithpaul.com. This keto powder. This substance helps you tap into many of the weight management benefits of being in ketosis, even without the need for extreme carb restrictions or having to go through that infamous keto flu. I'm impressed, folks. The very first week I started it, it was incredible, and I've noticed significant differences since I've been taking it in appetite and cravings. I want you to try it as well and experience the amazing effects it had on me. Get a bag of this today. Save 51% plus receive several free bonuses before this New Year's sale comes to an end. It's at www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. You will be glad you did this. I guarantee it. All right, guys. Now, we've got significant information here about what's happening. But remember what Mike from around the world said. There was 17 dates that we were going to experience some type of wave of energy or events. And some of those events are a little different than others. But the first wave hit on January 5th, and then a few days later, we seen 2 earthquakes over 7. We saw 2 atmospheric river bombs of rain on California. We saw 4 X-class solar flares on the sun. We seen all the planes shut down in America. Just this all happened within 3 or 4 days after the wave. Well, Mike around the world has confirmed that the second wave of energy has just hit our solar system today. So tonight we're going to find out what does that mean. Matter of fact, let's listen to Mike for a minute. Let's just listen to what he said. This was back on December 29th before the first wave hit. Listen to what he said was going to take place in these last days. Check this out, guys, right now. Here's what Mike from around the world had to say about it all, okay? Here we go.
So it would shoot flare in the direction of that weakness in the...
That weakness, that's right.
And so we don't know what that means, is what you're saying. And we won't know till it happens. And January 5th is the first one. Now, where's these waves coming from? I mean, where is it coming from, Mike? What's the origin?
There is a source center. Okay, there is a center. Eventually, people will be able to see that center. Here's the problem. If anybody were to mention that center now,
Mike, I'm gonna put a shout out real fast. Stephen Benenu's in the chat room tonight, and he's on a lot of our webinars. We'll put a shout out, say hi, Stephen. Glad you're watching tonight. And so we know he's all over a lot of this stuff too, Mike. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry for interrupting.
I'm sure he is. The location, if they could give out specific coordinates, which will eventually be seen by most amateur astronomers, but this is going to be under a time of social duress. I say that because social media is changing for a reason. Don't think it's just happenstance. They're going to have to control the flow of information very carefully if they're going to continue to construct what they're constructing. And all of this is not some big conspiracy theory. That's not what this is. This is happening before people's eyes. things are going to become quite obvious, right? There are going to be star systems that are starting to react in different ways. Even right now, there's been an explosion. You don't hear anything, do you?
No.
There's been an explosion.
Where?
Today. There was an explosion today in space. You don't hear a word.
No, what? Whoa, wait a minute.
And I'm saying this because to let people know they're not going to hear anything until after they decide how to cover that story, right? And so I do this from time to time on purpose to let people know that there are a lot of things that are under real control.
When you say
Information is under
explosion, Mike,
real control.
when you say explosion, are you saying, was this in the cosmos, or is this something?
Yeah, in the cosmos.
Okay.
In the cosmos.
Not one of our weapons in space or anything.
No.
Okay.
So they can detect quite a bit. They can see quite a bit. They play a role. If you don't say anything, nobody really reaches too far. They're not going to, demand, tell us how you know this or whatever the case is. They might do it with an individual, certainly not with an agency. And I'm saying this because once they break the story, there's no telling what people hear. There's a list of things that people can hear, but they're going to break the story, and people say, wow, this happened for the first time. No, it didn't. That won't be the case. So people can remember this night. I'm telling you in advance, there was an explosion. It will be a newsbreaker. They'll have to explain it because people will detect it. And then, of course, they go through their routine. Well, there are other things out there in the space just like that. Things that have already happened. We just have not faced the consequences of what happened. There are things that happened thousands of years ago.
So this is some breaking news. You're giving us some breaking news that tonight, on December 29, 2022, there was an explosion.
Yes.
Out there in our is it in our solar system? I take it.
No, it's outside of our solar system, but it will affect our solar system. Well, it's kind of like beetle guys, right? Everybody's scared of
everybody's scared of beetle guys. Yeah.
They shouldn't be. That's the least of their worries. They shouldn't be. They're going to be blindsided when something twice as massive actually takes effect. Because they can't see it, nobody mentions it. Because the average person with a telescope cannot detect it.
I see.
They keep it out of the public's eye. And this is going to surprise people. People will find themselves in this state of, wow, I've been looking at the wrong thing. Here's a rule of thumb. If the public, if they advertise it, don't look at it. It's not the big deal. Don't look at it. There's something else going on.
So if an amateur astronomer or somebody like that spots this thing and sees it, then we're going to get some kind of notification. We're going to get some confirmation that something did happen.
Oh, you'll get confirmation of this one.
Okay.
But as a general rule, what they're doing is a misdirect, Pastor Paul. They're trying to. They're coming out with stories. It's like the why in the world would they tell us about an earthquake on Mars? Right? It's kind of like that. What's the significance of that? Why tell that? Well, that's kind of one of those bleed stories. There are lots of things in the heavens that are happening right now. They're hard pressed to find cover stories to deflect, to keep people's minds on something else. Because you know what? If people found out what was happening in the heavens, their imaginations would go wild. And then civilization would come to a screeching halt. If they found out the threat they're really under, nobody would be concerned about propping up any nation, right? They'd be concerned about their families. And
there you have it, folks. That's Mike from around the world, and that was back on December 29th. He was telling us then that there was an explosion way outside our solar system. But then he was telling us that soon we will understand it. Well, on January 5th, that was the first wave of energy. And it hit that day, and we were actually live that night. And of course, okay, Mike, you tell us this, but what does that mean? He's saying in a few days, you're going to start seeing manifestation from that. Look for earthquakes. Look for massive flooding. Look for even planes to be shut down and not allowed to fly. Look for the sun to go crazy with some solar flares. Watch out for these things to happen. 3 days after the January 5th wave of energy hit our solar system, it finally affected the sun and the earth. The sun had 4 X-class solar flares, huge. 2 atmospheric rivers storms flooded California. all of the planes were grounded for 3 hours in the United States, and they blamed it on a computer glitch. But really, we know, Mike said planes could fall out of the air, or matter of fact, the planes that were in the sky had to come down under 17,000 feet because of the high radiation levels that they would encounter. And so they brought those flights down under 17,000 feet while they were waiting to land them. And there was 2 7.0 earthquakes. One was 7.1 and one was 7.9. All of that happened within 72 hours of that wave of energy. What I'm telling you today is the second wave of energy has hit. Okay. And I don't see any really manifestation of it yet because it just hit. But we are going to find out more about this second wave that has just hit with Mike from around the world tonight. So you don't want to miss this, guys. It is going to be critical to find out what does this mean. And you want to get your ticket for the webinar, Concerned. Go to my website right now, paulbegleyprophecy.com, to get your ticket. Because in that webinar, we talk about CERN and the effects it is on the earth and what else they're doing there at CERN. Rex Bear will tell you about all of the weird occult worship that goes on at CERN. He had a family member work there. You'll find out from Bishop Larry Ragland how CERN and the World Economic Forum are connected. Literally, you won't believe it. You'll find out from Doug Hagman what the real details of what the agenda, World Economic Forum agenda is. He gives you an unbelievable revealing of the World Economic Forum from the inside. You'll find out about the New World Order from Stan Deyo and his years as an undercover FBI agent working for the federal government of the United States in the technology department area, because he's a genius, and he was involved in making the technology for a cashless society in 1971. And he gives you all the details. It's incredible. You will find out from these experts of all these things happening. Bart Begley has a great presentation, a documentary on the origins of CERN. Before CERN was even thought of, what went on in ancient practices, paganistic issues that went on at CERN's location where CERN is today. This is why Switzerland is such an important part of Davos and CERN and the World Health Organization and the World Trade Organization and all these other organizations that come out of that brain trust to try to rule the world. And you'll find out from me, I will go verse by verse, Daniel chapter 7 and Revelation 13. I will break down for you the final 4 kingdoms of the earth and how they come together to bring forth a new world order or a beast kingdom. All of that is in the webinar. I'm just telling you now, it's incredible. Get your tickets now. Go get your tickets right now. Don't even hesitate. Go right now, because people are getting them as fast as they can. And I want to make sure you're in line and that your link is ready for you. Your private link, you'll be emailed at 6 o'clock Friday night. I want to make sure you're in line. So get your tickets today. We only have 27 hours left before the webinar. We only have 27 hours before the webinar. The countdown is on. And if you say, well, Pastor, I want to get a ticket. I've never done this. I don't know how. Well, you can do this. You can go to my website, go to paulbegleyprophecy.com and get your ticket. Or just pick up the phone. Call right now. I got 3 phone lines open. Call right now. You can call 765-414-6299. That's 765-414-6299. Or you can call the main office at 765-414-2230. That's 765-414-2230. Or call the third line, which is 765-320-0346. That's 765-320-0346. 3 lines open. Or just go to our website at paulbegleyprophecy.com and click it, get your ticket, get ready, okay? I want you to be ready for you to get that email at 6 o'clock tomorrow night for the webinar Concerned. It is going to be incredible. You're going to learn about CERN, the World Economic Forum, Agenda 2030 of the United Nations, and the New World Order. All of that will come together. And then, while you get your ticket now, go get your ticket now, get that done, and get ready for tonight. I'll be live at 9 p.m. Eastern with Mike from around the world. And that's going to be powerful because now you know the second wave just hit. Oh, by the way, an asteroid, we got the fourth closest asteroid to ever skim past the Earth is going to happen in about an hour and it happens at 4:17 p.m. Eastern. At 4:17 p.m. Eastern, in just about an hour from now. Let's hope that thing don't break apart and some meteors come flying in, smacking into the Earth. If it don't break apart, this asteroid will skim by at only 2,174 miles above the surface of the Earth, which is going right over top South America. This is incredible. This stuff is all happening. The heavens are shaking. Remember what Jesus said. He said in Luke 21:25, said, there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and distress of nations with perplexity. The sea and the waves will be roaring, and men's hearts will fail them for fear. Men's hearts will fail them for fear, sudden death of fear. For looking at those things coming on the earth, because the powers of heaven are shaking. Well, what's shaking them? Is it Planet X? Is it the 17 waves of energy? Are you serious? Are you serious? See, something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. What? Get your tickets now. Oh, the doomsday clock, you're right, moved another 10 seconds closer to midnight. It's the closest it's ever been. It's 90 seconds from midnight. Jesus is at the door. He's coming, folks. He's coming. He's at the door. Get rapture ready.
God, I'm so scared for this crooked generation. You even find faith in the earth when you bring down revelation. Forgive us now the sins of our youth, worshiping the idols that knew everything but the truth. Teach us how to uncorrupt our minds. Show us now while we still have the time. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We abandon everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street. How much will we see before the fire falls? Lord, could this really be the last altar call? We need your blood over the doorpost of our hearts. Anoint us with your fiery love as the praise and worship starts. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. We need you, Yeshua. Holy, holy, hallelujah. follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the streets. Oh, we abandon everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the streets. We abandoned everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street. We abandoned everything to follow you, our King. We throw our gold and silver in the street.
Incredible, folks. That's exactly what the Bible said will happen when the wrath of God is poured out on this planet. You don't want to be here when the wrath of God comes down. You don't want to be left behind. I'll be back. Actually, at 6 o'clock, I'm going to be doing an interview. I haven't interviewed this guy in a long, long time. And certainly, we're going to find out some more about the World Economic Forum. But that's at 6 o'clock. And then I'll be interviewing Mike from around the world at 9 p.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, 3 phone lines are open. Call if you need to call to get your ticket for the webinar called Concerned. Pick up the phone and call right now. One phone number is 765-414-6299. That's 765-414-6299. Or call the main office at 765-414-2230. That's 765-414-2230. Or call the third line at 765-320-0346. That's 765-320-0346. Get your ticket for this webinar. Don't miss it. Get the ticket. And unless this asteroid that's going to go past the Earth, the closest thing, only the 4th closest asteroid in history, as long as this thing don't break apart, we shouldn't have a problem. But just in case, if as long as that don't happen, the webinar's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. You want to be ready. Are you serious? You want to be ready. Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. I'll see you at 6 o'clock and again at 9 o'clock tonight. Are you serious?